Alright, so for today's video, I'm going to show you how to install a new product. So this is the CTM Tech AAP-01 pistol frame grip type thing. So it basically replaces the lower on these guns. Alright, so they come in 5 different colors. So you have black, OD green, desert tan, gray, and silver. We're going to be installing a black one today. And what they look like is they look like this. So it's going to look very similar to the Ruger, like the real version of this, basically. This is be the 2245 sort of style, and it's going to look real nice on these guns. So we're going to go ahead and start doing this. I've never done this before, but this is actually very easy to do, and I'll show you how to do it. So first off, you need to remove the upper from the lower. So the upper is just going to be this button right here. You press this button and it'll come off. And then the upper, we do not need this anymore. So this can be set off to the side. And I'm going to pause for a second. I changed the settings on my camera and I forgot to change them back, but here we are. So how to start transferring everything over to here, right? So first off, we're going to have to remove basically all the interior stuff. So mine's a little bit different because I have this thumb ledge, but you do both of the screws up here. So this one and then also this one right here. So we grab. Mine is annoying because they're 2 different sizes of screws. But if you don't have the thumb ledge, it's going to be a 2mm, I think. Could be wrong. Yeah, 2mm. Right, and then just set everything off to the side. Keep track of it. Don't lose anything, obviously. There is another screw down here. Same 2mm. Just unscrews. And then all 3 of the screws are all the same, so it doesn't matter if you mix them up. The 3 screws in the front here are all the same. All right, now for the safety, make sure you press in the button first, so get it started like that. And then you need to grab a tool and go ahead. I like to push right here. I kind of pull this that way, and then I push down at the same time. And I wiggle it out. All right. And then now we have this pin right here. So we're going to punch that pin out. It's going to go from this side down. Let's move that. All right, so that's all removed. And then now you can pull this out, and there's a couple springs, just be careful, but none of these springs should launch. There we go. That's all the screws out. And now you just have the trigger and the whole hammer assembly. The hammer is just 2 pins, and they go out the same way. So from this side going down. And they should all be easy to take out. Nothing should be like stuck or anything like that. All right, so now you need to be careful because there is a spring. The spring is holding down this piece right here that I'm pushing down. There's a spring in there. Make sure you don't lose that because if you don't have an extra spring, those are a pain because most shops are not going to carry that spring, at least here in America. All right, so set that off to the side, and then if you're good, you can leave it all together, but I'm going to take it off. So I like to kind of pull it out and keep my finger over the spring so that way I just don't lose it. But very, very, very gently disassemble that. All right, and then don't take any of this apart. This is a pain. So leave this whole thing together. Now, the only thing left to do is going to be the magazine release and this back button. Let's do the back button first because it's very easy. You literally just pull it, it pulls off. And then you want to grab the spring, obviously. The spring's being a little bit stubborn. There it goes. All right, so spring in that. All right, now magazine release. So the magazine release is not going to be going onto the new grip. The new grip has its own magazine release, but we need the spring from inside the magazine release. You could always just buy a new spring, but I'm going to show you how to do this without buying anything new. If you have the aluminum mag release, you need to remove this screw, remove the top half, and then down here inside the grip there's a spring that is right here. You need to pull the spring this way and then push it back, and that will free the magazine release, and you can move the magazine release out. And then the spring, you just need to grab that with your fingers, and that should come out, hopefully. Maybe not though, but it should just come out. Might need pliers. But there's nothing holding the spring in once you remove the magazine release. Mine is in there real good. There it goes. All right, so now this is actually empty. There's nothing else on this. So now the new one. Let's go ahead and do the magazine release first, since that one's kind of the weird thing. At least mine have a piece of tape on the inside to kind of hold the magazine release there. But remove that tape, and then the magazine release will come out. It's like this. The spring needs to go in first, so it's going to go in sort of this orientation. If you're holding the gun normally, it's going to be sitting like this, right? And that's if you're a right-handed person. If you're left-handed, it'll be, actually no, this one is only right hand only for the magazine release. But you just got to push the spring down in there. There's a little hook on the side over on this side. I like to get that hook stuck in the groove, but you don't have to. I just like to get it stuck in there so it's a little bit stronger connection. So there we are. We're all good there. And then now the magazine release, it should pretty much just slide in. Make sure you guide it to where it needs to go. But it should slide in, and it goes in all the way. And then you need to grab the spring again. You need to pull the spring this way towards the right side of the gun, and then kind of pull it back at the same time. There we go. We sort of have it, I think. Oh yeah, we definitely have it. Right, so now we're good. And then you can always double check, just make sure that you can press the button, and the button obviously wants to come back out, right? Which is the case. On these, do make sure that you have these screws tightened down all the way. I think this one had a couple of these were a little bit loose for these grip screws, but you also want to make sure that the screws are not protruding out. So it shouldn't be an issue with these because these are all sort of meant to be a kit sort of thing, but just double check, make sure that the screws are not sticking out into the area where the magazine is, because you don't want to have any drag on the magazine or anything like that. We'll go ahead and put the rear button back in. So it literally just kind of pops on. And I like to press it a whole bunch of times to kind of make sure the spring is kind of set on there, like that. And then we're all good there, right? So now, the next thing we're gonna do is put in this rear piece. So a lot of stuff has to go in at the same time. The trigger has to go in at the same time, and then also the little lock here has to go in at the same time. So I normally will get the lock kind of set on here all together, and then I kind of grab onto it like this. In this, I've kind of gotten used to this, but basically it's going to go into this groove is right here, right? So it goes into this groove, and then you set the trigger in, and then this will slide into place. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a tight fit, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. You want to push it all the way down, and then right here, push that in, push it down. That's good. We have free movement of this, which is nice. And we also have free movement of this. So we want to make sure that anything that's moving is going to be free movement, because if it's not free movement, you're going to want to have to remove some material on the grip, not on the metal piece. Okay, the metal piece you want to keep how it is, because you cannot get replacement metal pieces. Okay. All right, so once that's good, we can go ahead and put the rest of the stuff in. So the front part that goes in like this, we're going to grab this and this. So this basically, the spring, there's a latch sort of right there that's sticking up. The spring kind of goes and sits on that latch. I hope you can see this, but it sits on that little latch thing. And then I like to grab on here, and then you can see how the spring is sitting like that. That is just gonna kind of slide into place just like that. And then we're going to grab this spring. So this spring, basically, oh, there it goes. It's going to sit in the gun like this. I don't know if you can see how that's sitting, but it's going to sit like, oh, sorry, where is it? It's more like this, sort of, right? So it goes on here. Oh. And I lost it. Oh, and I lost everything. Dang it. Okay. We'll do this fast this time, since I already showed you how to do it. So basically, it's going to hook onto the little hook on the trigger bar. All right, right there. Hooks on. And then you're going to want to pull it. I use my hand, I use my finger, I pull this until it gets to the peg that's right there. Just like so. Locks onto the peg, press everything down, there we go. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do these two screws, just so I stop losing that. And it looks like the new grip also does not use, it doesn't use a safety. Right. In this gun, I already have the safety disabled, so I don't know for sure if it'll fit if you have the safety still enabled. But to disable the safety, it's very easy. It's just this piece right here. You basically just have to take this out, and then you just push that out of the gun, so it's not there anymore. Alright, so let's go ahead and do these two pins, because these two pins should be easy, I think. So we'll start with this little short one. It's going to go in here. It looks like this gun is just going to be a tight fit, so you're probably going to want to use a mallet, so I'll use this. I'm just going to get them started, and then at the end I'll come back and I'll get everything all put in all the way 100%. Right, so now this pin looks like everything's pretty much all lined up. So we'll put this in, and we'll grab the mallet, because this is going to be a tight fit, so I'm going to do this off camera, but it will go in. So that's how far I got it with just using the mallet. So all I have to do now is use a punch tool and just get it the rest of the way in until it's flush. But at this point we can check our functionality. So we're going to go ahead, cock the gun like that. So we actually cocked it too far, so we need to press this button here. Right there. So now it's cocked to the normal semi-auto position. We're going to press down this button. Make sure we watch the firing pin inside, and it reset, which is perfect. And then now we should be able to fire it, and it does function. So that is perfect. And I always just do it a couple times because I never trust myself, but do it a couple times, make sure everything all works fine, which it does in this case, which is nice. So we're going to go ahead and put this pin all the way through, and then we'll put the upper back on. All right, so there we have that. I'm going to go ahead and remove this screw. gonna put on our thumb rest, because I think the thumb rest is gonna work on this. I think. No, it's not gonna work. So no thumb rest on this. Which is unfortunate because I like the thumb rest, but that's just how it's gonna be on this one, I guess. So no thumb rest is gonna be usable on this unless you modify it. But that's not terrible, it's just a thing, right? But the nice thing about this is going to match up to, like, if you have like a real 2245, this is going to match up a lot more closely to that. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm going to put the pin back through and always double check functionality once I sort of hammer stuff in. Alright, so the rattling that I heard there, that's just this little, the rotor. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this back on. Alright, it's on there. It's pretty snug. A little bit looser than the stock one, I think, but that could just be the combination of the upper and the lower. A piece of dust. Right. So there we go. Look at that. That looks pretty sweet. I'm definitely excited about these. I'm going to be putting one on my rifle, I think, only because I like to have the thumb rest on my pistols. It's always nice to double check functionality once the whole thing is put together, which we do have. So yeah, and that's gonna be it. I'll let you guys know if I have any problems with this, but for now, it seems pretty nice. Yeah, have a nice day.